Imagine a spacecraft built not for exploration, not for war, but for preservation. A capsule carrying the very essence of life, DNA, seeds, cells, the blueprints of every living thing that makes Earth what it is. It wasn't about science fiction. It wasn't a dream. It was real. A project designed to ensure that even if humanity fell, life itself could begin again. Russia called it the Bion M2. Scientists called it the Noah's Ark of Space, a vessel meant to carry the future into orbit. But within hours of launch, it was gone, burned, lost forever in the thin veil of Earth's atmosphere. This wasn't just a failed experiment. It was a symbol of how fragile our existence truly is. So what exactly was this mysterious mission? Why was it so important? And what does it mean for the future of life beyond Earth? The story begins in silence, deep within the laboratories of Russia's space agency, Roscosmos. The Bion program wasn't new. It had existed since the Cold War, designed to test how life survives beyond Earth. Mice, plants, bacteria, small experiments that quietly shaped our understanding of space biology. But Bion M2 was something more ambitious. Inside its compact metal shell was not a single living creature, but a collection of life itself. Hundreds of samples from plants, microorganisms, and even animal DNA, frozen and protected, waiting to journey beyond the atmosphere. It was a time capsule of creation. The idea behind it was both haunting and hopeful. Humanity has always feared extinction, from asteroids to nuclear war, from pandemics to our own destruction of the planet. If the worst were to happen, could life survive somewhere else? Could we one day rebuild Earth using stored DNA, just as the legendary Noah saved life from the flood? That was the dream. The Ark would orbit our planet, testing how DNA and biological material endure radiation, cosmic rays, and zero gravity. If it worked, it could pave the way for the first spaceborne genetic vaults, life preservers drifting among the stars. Launch day arrived with the same electric tension that always fills the air at Baikonur Cosmodrome. The Soyuz rocket stood tall against the dawn sky, wrapped in frost and silence. Then came ignition. The engines thundered, the ground trembled, and within seconds, the Ark was airborne, carrying with it decades of hope and ambition. For a moment, everything was perfect. The telemetry looked good. The capsule separated as planned. Scientists watching from mission control began to breathe again. Russia had done it. The Noah's Ark of Space was finally in orbit. And then, within hours, everything changed. Suddenly, signals began to flicker. Telemetry cut out. The spacecraft started spinning uncontrollably, violently. A malfunction in its attitude control system had sent it tumbling through space. Engineers scrambled to re-establish contact, to stabilize the capsule, to save what they had spent years building. But the Ark was falling. Bit by bit, its orbit decayed, pulling it lower and lower toward Earth. The silence in mission control deepened until, finally, a faint radar signal confirmed the worst. The Ark was re-entering the atmosphere. Moments later, it was gone. A streak of light raced across the Pacific sky, the last remnants of the Ark disintegrating into dust. In a few seconds, humanity's most ambitious life preservation experiment had been reduced to fire. For scientists, it wasn't just data lost, it was a heartbreak. Years of genetic research, thousands of delicate samples, and one dream gone forever. For Russia, the loss was another blow to a space program already struggling. Once the pride of the world, Roscosmos has faced shrinking budgets, sanctions, and aging technology. The Bion M2 failure was more than technical. It was symbolic of how fragile the dream of space science has become. But beyond politics and headlines, the deeper question is this: why build a Noah's Ark in space at all? Because Earth is not eternal. Our planet is beautiful, yes, but it's also vulnerable. One asteroid, one eruption, one human-made catastrophe could erase millennia of evolution. Every species we lose, every plant, every creature is gone forever. That's why scientists across the world have been racing to preserve life's code. The Svalbard Seed Vault in Norway stores millions of seeds deep in Arctic ice, a backup in case global agriculture collapses. But the Bion M2 was something more than the first step beyond Earth, because if this planet falls, only what's in space will survive. It's a haunting idea and a hopeful one. Imagine tiny capsules of DNA orbiting the sun, carrying the memory of life through eternity. Even if humanity vanished, those capsules would remain drifting quietly, waiting for someone, someday, to find them and start again. That's what the Russian Ark was meant to be: a test, a proof of concept, a whisper of eternity in metal and glass. Now imagine being one of the scientists who worked on it. Years spent collecting samples, freezing them, cataloging them, coding each strand of DNA. You know that what's inside could someday bring back a lost species. You know it's humanity's backup plan. And then, you watch as the rocket carrying it vanishes in flame. There's nothing you can do, no second attempt, no recovery, no redo. Just a bright streak in the night sky, and silence. But even in loss, the mission raises an even greater question. Who will carry the torch next? Because this isn't just about Russia. Around the world, other agencies are watching closely. NASA has long proposed building a lunar gene vault, a storage facility buried deep within the moon's lava tubes, safe from radiation and asteroid strikes. The European Space Agency has discussed placing frozen DNA vaults in orbit around Mars. Even private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin dream of creating self-sustaining colonies that could preserve life far from Earth. This is the new frontier of space exploration, not just reaching the stars, but ensuring life survives among them. The failure of Russia's Ark doesn't end that dream. It only proves how fragile it is and how urgent. Because every year, the threats grow. Climate change, rising temperatures, collapsing ecosystems, extinction is accelerating faster than ever. If we don't preserve what we have now, we may never have the chance again. And yet, amid the ashes of failure, there's something profoundly human about the Ark. For thousands of years, we've built monuments and stories to survive our own fragility. The pyramids, libraries, and digital archives all make an effort to say, "We were here." The Ark was the next evolution of that instinct. Instead of saving our stories, it tried to save life itself. It failed, but that failure speaks louder than silence. Russia's Noah's Ark reminds us that even our greatest achievements are fragile, that progress and tragedy often walk hand in hand. But it also shows that the dream isn't dead. Somewhere, right now, another team of scientists is already planning the next version, stronger, safer, more enduring. Because deep down, we all know one thing: Earth won't last forever. But life, if we protect it, might. The destruction of the Ark wasn't the end, it was a warning. A reminder that the survival of life depends on more than technology. It depends on will, on unity, on the belief that what we build now will outlast us. If humanity truly wants to endure, we must build more vaults, more backups, more arks. Because one day, our entire world might depend on what we send into the dark. So what was Russia's secret Ark? It was humanity's first true attempt to carry the blueprint of life into space, and it burned. But what it represented still matters. It wasn't just metal or data. It was hope compressed into a capsule, aimed toward eternity. It fell, but the dream it carried, the dream of life surviving the end of everything, still burns brighter than ever. Because one day, our survival may depend not on what we build on Earth, but on what we dare to send beyond it. If you found this story meaningful, like the video, share it, and subscribe for more powerful content.